Hey Brian.
Hey.
So happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much.
And I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. And I respect you so much. And I think you are the perfect person to have this conversation about self-love in the Self-Love podcast. And I invited you because I respect you as a person, and also your work is very inspiring, and I think at the same time really difficult. In the next 10 minutes of our conversation, I'm super happy that we can share a few topics. One, shortly about your work and how self-love can that interfere with the type of people that you help. And also, let's talk about boundaries.
Yes.
Right? I think it's such an important topic. And since I founded Mindful Aruba, this wellness company that is dedicated to helping people find peace and self-love, I understood that you cannot live a happy life, no matter how much you love yourself, without setting the proper boundaries.
Correct. Correct.
But before that, tell me a bit about your work, because you've been working for almost 7 years
Yes.
at KIA, the
Yes.
Correctional Institute of Aruba.
Correct.
And I can imagine you see a lot of difficult situations and people that go through a lot of difficult times of their life. Is self important to someone that is being incarcerated?
Yes. Very much. I mean, you'd be surprised how many times I feel that the combination between not sufficient self-love or erroneous maybe approaches towards self-love and emotional intelligence plays a role in them ending up in prison.
Uh-huh.
And then also with all the emotional baggage and the difficulties that being in prison brings, there you see another level of how important it is to have self-love. Because essentially, we're dealing with people who are in a very precarious psychological situation. They're being held in a place where essentially they don't want to be held. Ever put a cat in a box? They go absolutely bonkers. Well, emotionally, it pretty much devastates a person. So it's a difficult situation to be in, and self-love plays a very big role in promoting the resilience you're going to have there, and how you're going to go through that process, and how you're going to come out of it, which is very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, also how you actually get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you say that the lack of self-love can get you in trouble?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Yes. The lack of self-love has you or lets you or puts you rather in a situation or a lot of situations where you let yourself be in very precarious moments, or you make a decision based on someone else's wants and needs, which drives you to this, right? So not having self-love, not understanding your self-worth and what your actions might mean for not only others but for your own well-being, causes a person to very easily fall into situations that are illegal. Because a person who truly loves themselves understands that I'm not going to take that action because I understand what that'll mean. It means possibly, quite possibly, that I'm going to end up in prison. And not only in prison, but I'm going to be pulled away from my family. I'm going to be pulled away from my loved ones. And everything I understood as normal in my life will be flipped upside down. So definitely plays a huge role.
Huge role. Now that you say it like that, it's incredible. So it takes me to, if you don't love yourself enough, you don't practice maybe awareness enough, right? To ask yourself the questions. And therefore, if you don't practice the awareness, you're not setting proper boundaries with yourself,
Correct.
with others, and even with the environment, even with the law. Because in all aspects, it's actually the ability to care for yourself enough so you can ask yourself the proper questions.
Correct.
And then act in a way that protects your integrity by having boundaries.
Yeah, correct.
Wow, okay. And what would you say if someone is just a normal person, minding their business, going to work, trying to, conform with the law and live a good life? How can a person know if they are having proper boundaries or not?
Well, I think a good indicator is you look at the different areas of your life,
Uh-huh.
and you have to evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
You look at the different areas in your life, and you make an honest evaluation of how is that going? How is my social life going? Do I have it's not about having a lot of friends, it's about having quality friends.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have 30 friends and they mean absolutely nothing to you in your life, in your growth, in your process. And you could have only one friend and that person has helped you, propelled you to the stratosphere. You know what I mean? It's very important for us to understand that you need to have that talk to yourself. You need to have that introspection and understanding that if you don't do that, you're not paying attention to what boundaries are being broken, or what am I overstepping, and how is this helping my life, and how is this working within my life. You know what I mean? So again, that conversation with yourself is everything. Is absolutely everything. That honest conversation and setting of that boundary and understanding. You know what I found out also? A lot of people don't even have boundaries. It's a lack of boundaries. They don't have boundaries at all. It's almost that their actions are driven by instinct or by emotions and not by a goal, a goal for betterment, for wellness. It's very reactive, and it's unfortunate because I think there's so many wonderful people, and I'm including my clients in prison. Most wonderful of human beings you would ever meet in your life, that due to lack of boundaries, due to lack of self-love, due to lack of emotional intelligence, they have been placed or taken decisions that have ultimately ended them in prison, which is really hard to understand.
Yeah, these are the extreme cases, right? When you can see the consequences so obviously, but you can also see the consequences in a lot of suffering for someone that's not in prison, just because they don't have boundaries. I've been seeing this for 13 years now, since I've been working with people as a psychologist, and I've seen this in all cultures, like working with people across the globe, literally on all continents. People understand that something is wrong, but still they have the difficulty of setting the boundary in an honest way, but also respecting their own boundary.
Oh my God.
Why do you think that happens? Why even if I know I'm hurting myself, I go against my own word, my own authenticity?
Well, I think there's I think there's a whole bunch of reasons that why a person could not get there, right? Why a person couldn't recognize it. It could be everything from upbringing to culture. It could be pleasing. For instance, a lot of people break their own boundaries or realize that something is not right, but because they under the premise of love or under the premise of friendship or under the premise of whatever, they follow the crowd and they just do things instinctively, like, instead of stopping and saying, exploring that feeling of something's not right here, or I'm not 100% on board with this. Let me take a minute and explore this for a minute, because if I'm feeling this way, it's because my body and my mind and my soul is telling me, hey, there's a boundary being crossed. Something's not right.
Yes.
And maybe there isn't something wrong, but you need to explore it, because chances are there is something that is not right.
Always.
You know?
There's always something.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself angry or irritated, there's something wrong. Your body is telling you someone is crossing a boundary, or a need of yours is not being respected or met.
Yeah.
So it's time to listen to that.
It's time to listen to that and
Absolutely.
explore it.
Yes.
Honestly, like you said before, again.
Yes.
Explore those things. I use a trick. I use a 4-pillar trick that I created because when I was working with as a positive masculinity officer in masculinity, the subject of masculinity with men, I needed a tool to help them pragmatically approach the idea of emotional intelligence and boundaries and all that. So I created like 4 pillars based on a theory that I found online. I created 4 pillars. I call them the 4 pillars of progress. So you have the first pillar, which is the pillar of boundary, right? And the interesting thing about it, the first thing I ask the person to do is set a goal. What do you want? Anything. Set a goal. Realistic goal, of course. Yeah, I want to be Superman. Okay. Okay. Set a realistic goal in your life, and the first thing you do is you go through the pillar of boundaries. Why? Basically, you have to sit down, think what you need, what could possibly hinder your way to your road towards that goal. And you set up these boundaries, rules, or statutes, whatever you want to call it, to protect that road towards that goal. And another important thing about this pillar is that it teaches you not only to set these goals to protect yourself from that outside external boundary breaking energies, rather it come in people or in whatever, but also it teaches you how to not break it for yourself. It helps you maintain focus onto where we're going, why we're doing it. So as you're building that first pillar, that first pillar of boundary, you need to ask yourself, what's my goal? Why do I want it? How bad do I want it and or need it? What do I need for it? Who do I think can hinder this process? All of these things you need to go through. And there's more questions you need to ask before you establish your boundaries. And I walk it through with them. So I have them sit down, write it down. What do you need? What do you want? What can hinder this? You know yourself as well. What can you do to hinder that? How can you break your own boundaries? Make sure you write that down as well so that you're aware of that. And then you move on to the pillar of communication. The pillar of communication is important because once you establish your boundaries, the people that are around you, it's important for them to know. Because they don't know. They're just going to keep going normally, interacting with you normally. But if you understand that you're going through a process that needs such strict boundaries, you need to communicate to them because you're not alone in this world. You interact with people. So going through that journey might change the way you're thinking or the way you're acting or the way you're talking because you're going towards a goal. So that communication is very important. But I also emphasize a lot that pillar of a communication more towards the self-communication. And it comes back to that introspection. So if you're not doing that consistent introspection of how is it going, did this boundary, now that we're doing it, is this boundary helping? Is this something, or do I need to reinforce it, or do I need to release it and replace it? That's important. That's where that pillar comes in. Then you have the pillar of surrender. And I love this pillar because this pillar is all about acceptance of the process we spoke about. Acceptance of one's difficulties, hardships, and feelings and emotions, and allowing yourself to feel it, but organized, in an organized way, not in a random way. As in, you set up 2 hours a day. This first hour, I'm going to think about the things that make me angry. And I'm going to feel angry about it. And I'm going to feel angry about it. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to scream into a pillow. I'm going to do what I need to do in a healthy way so that I can at least feel that emotion. I'm going to surrender to it. Not completely, and that's why we have that hour or that 2 hours, whatever you need. Maybe it's 15 minutes, whatever you need for you to start feeling that. And the last one is the pillar of control, which is the most powerful one and the most difficult one. Basically, it talks about you regaining control of your life, you regaining control of where you want to go in your goals by following by keeping those other pillars strongly. So taking control of the pillars. And why did I say it like that? Because I project that idea a little bit outside of us so that it can feel a little easier. Kind of like speaking to someone instead of yourself. So I project that. So that control is from outside. It's something I have here, right in front of me. And I'm going to take it. Right now I'm taking control of this. You're crossing a boundary. And there I'm using all my pillars because I'm reinforcing my boundary. I'm communicating to that person that it's not right. I'm surrendering to that feeling that allows me to go to that first pillar. And then I'm taking control of the situation, say, I'm sorry. No, I can't do this right now. I'm on a mission, so I need you to calm down. So this is what I've been using as a tool, but there's so many ways to do it. There's so many ways to approach it. But definitely going all full circle, full back,
You cannot miss. If you respect the steps and if you go through it,
I haven't seen people miss with it if you do it honestly.
yeah.
I haven't seen people miss with it.
I absolutely love it. I think you kind of summarize like 6 months of therapy. Absolutely, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And if people go through it in such a concrete manner, for sure they can see the results. And if I would add something to this, because I think it's already so complex and useful,
Yeah.
I would add 2 elements, the emotional sides of it.
Ooh, yes.
You might have the perfect strategy, but if you do not accept that while you're setting boundaries, you will have to accept that you're also going to lose stuff.
Ooh.
So it's possible that you might lose stuff. That process, you will sabotage it.
Yeah.
Because you will get very scared
Ooh,
on the
that's
way.
beautiful. True.
Allow yourself to lose stuff on the way. Allow yourself to lose people, to lose an opportunity, to lose even someone liking you. If you can live without that, you're going to become an expert into setting boundaries.
Yes.
So many times I have, because I teach, I have some workshops on how to set boundaries here in Aruba, and people come to me and say, okay, the way we formulate it and express it, it's great, but what do I do if they don't agree with my boundary? Doesn't matter. You stick
to it.
You stick to
You
your
stick to
boundary. That's the thing, and people will agree to it in the end. And if they are not meant to agree, you can move on with your life, and I promise you will survive.
Yeah.
If you lose your job, if you lose a partner, if you lose a friend, if you lose whatever, you will find another one, and another one that's even more updated
Yeah.
to the new you that you've
Yeah.
been building.
And that's okay. It doesn't make that person a bad person. It doesn't. And it's not that. It's that you are going for you're on another journey in your life, and at this moment, it's simple. That person is not understanding the boundary, and that means that you need to maybe discard that, or you need to understand that. Okay, this is not going to be easy. I love that person, but I need to take a certain distance from that person because right now it's going to hinder that boundary, that process for me to get to the goal where I want to go. And that's okay. And
Yes,
it has
that's
to be okay.
That's okay. The sooner we
It's
have
okay.
said that's okay, life becomes easier.
Yeah.
And I would add a second element to it that will make the process of setting boundaries easier, the self-worth.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I upset people, I am still good enough.
Yeah.
Even though I'm losing people, I am still a worthy person.
Yes.
Even though I had to set a boundary and I lost all these people and they seem furious with me, or in my head I'm worried that they will be furious, that doesn't make me a bad person.
Exactly.
I think if we can tolerate that we are not bad people when we have to refuse others or reject others or others get upset with us, we can live with more peace.
Definitely. I think that's it's so important what you're saying, right? And this is why the sooner you get on this train, the better, because there is nuances and complexities to this. So we need to get on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so happy we're having this conversation, Brian. And I invite the people that listen to us to follow the episode, the full episode on YouTube, because we talked about so many amazing things about awareness and how to start with the journey of self-love and so many other things that I'm sure they can inspire. And I also invite people to participate into workshops, because we're organizing with Mindful Aruba workshops about how to set boundaries, understanding why it's so difficult to set it, and then step by step how to set one and stand straight into that.
Yeah.
And we're also organizing a self-love retreat. I think is the most unique one here in Aruba that contains like discovering yourself, laughing, eating, doing an island tour, sound healing. It's all in one. It's going to be so beautiful. So thank you so much for being part of the episode today.
Thank you so
and
much.
I can't wait for us to talk again.
Yes, me too. Guys, take advantage of this. Please, it's so good. Thank you.
Ciao, Brian.
Ciao.